Viral text message allegedly sent by mobile network operators notifying subscribers of the ₦4 charge per 20 seconds on unstructured supplementary service data USSD access to banking services from today, 21st October 2019. So, what is the implication of this charge? This is our focus on Panorama today with me, Ian John. Welcome. President Muhammadu Buhari will part Abuja Monday to participate in the 3-day Russia-Africa Summit in Russia from October 23rd to 25th with a focus on exploring and expanding opportunities in security, trade and investment, science and technology and gas production. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, the President during the summit will meet with President Vladimir Putin of Russia to further strengthen relations in security, trade and investment and build partnership that would enhance Nigeria's huge gas potential following Russia's remarkable success in gas exportation. The summit is expected to bring fresh perspectives on some global issues and challenges, including nuclear technology, energy, development, agriculture, infrastructure and development. An African Business Forum, which will bring together African and Russian business leaders, will be held during the event to enhance Russian investment in Africa and promote African business interest in host country. Shomari appeals to very bail conditions. Cancelled convener of the Revolution Now protest, Omoyele Shomari, has approached the Federal High Court in Maitama, Abuja, seeking to have the conditions attached to Shomari's bail varied. Shomari had been unable to perfect the bail conditions given by the court. Justice Ijoma Ojukwu had, on the 4th of October 2019, granted a 100 million naira bail to Shomari with 2 sureties. The sureties were required to deposit 50 million naira with the court registry, among other bail conditions. His co-accused Olawale Bakari was granted 50 million naira bail with 2 sureties. Their inability to meet the bail conditions prompted their counsel, Femi Falano Estian, to seek the amendment. Shomari and Bakari are facing charges of treasonable felony and causing insult to the president. Charges filed against them by the Department of State Security, DSS. They pleaded not guilty to the charges. Moving on, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has assured that no amount of attacks, sponsored or otherwise, will stop implementation of the approved presidential recommendations to inject sanity into the nation's broadcast industry. The minister gave this reassurance in Lagos at an interactive session with members of the online publishers. Anthony Forsen reports.
As I speak, plans are ongoing to launch more coordinated acts with a view to truncating the implementation of the approved recommendations. Let me be straight. No amount of attacks, sponsored or otherwise, will stop the implementation of the approved recommendations.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed explaining the reason behind the federal government's desire to inject sanity into the nation's broadcast space. The minister said since the inauguration of the 7-man committee saddled with the responsibility of implementing the presidential recommendation, which will ensure the independence of the National Broadcasting Commission, review the commission's code to reflect the upward review of sanctions against broadcast outfits that breach the code. He maintained that it is in the interest of the corporate existence of the country.
Only patriots and anarchists will kick against measures aimed at putting end to fake news and hate speech, especially in our broadcast industry. Only those who are guilty should be afraid of the efforts to sanitize the broadcast industry. Responsible broadcasters have nothing to fear. This is not a move to stifle free speech or gag anyone, but purveyors of fake news and hate speech should not expect to sleep easy.
On the need to dismantle monopoly in the industry, Lai Mohammed said it is to create a level playing field for creativity. He enjoined members of the Online Publishers League to remain in vanguard of efforts to tackle fake news and hate speech. In Lagos, Anthony Fosun, NTA News.
In other news, Musa Rabu, abducted over the weekend, was today, 20th October 2019, rescued and hurt. Musa Rabu, abducted over the weekend, was yesterday, 20th October 2019, rescued and hurt. The officer was successfully rescued this evening by a combined team of police operatives with Kaduna, Niger and Zone 7 Command Headquarters, Abuja, backed up by members of the elite special forces of the NPF. In a statement by DCP Frank Mba, Force Public Relations Officer, Force Headquarters, said 2 male suspects have been arrested in connection with the incident and investigation into the incident is ongoing. In continuation of the offensive against bandits and other criminal suspects in Kaduna, combined troops of Operation Thunder Strike, Operation Bell Punch and 312 Artillery Regiment at the weekend with 2 bandits' camps in Chikun local government area to destroy the remnants of bandits and their camps. During the operation, the troops destroyed the 2 camps used by the bandits to perpetrate their activities. One of the bandits was neutralized while 1 AK-47 rifle, 3 motorcycles, 2 mobile phones and a sum of 5,000 naira recovered. The attention of the Federal Ministry of Communications has been drawn to the viral text message allegedly sent by the mobile network operator MTN Nigeria and other mobile operators notifying subscribers of a 4 naira charge per 20 seconds on USSD access to banking services from the 21st of October 2019. A release from the Office of the Minister of Communications says the minister is unaware of this development and has directed the sector regulator, the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, ensure that the operators suspend such plans until the minister is fully and properly briefed. We are not part of it. We will oppose it till they revert back to status quo. Those were the words of the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, in his reaction to the charges imposed by a telecom company in Nigeria on USSD transactions in banks. Chimaobi Walter Nigeria reports that the governor was speaking while briefing journalists on the outcome of the IMF Bank meetings in Washington.
Months ago, I held a meeting with some telecom companies as well as the leading banks in Nigeria at Central Bank Lagos. And the issue of the cost of USSD came up. I think I understand it's not actually 4 naira. Here it's 1,500 naira per minute. I appeal to them that they should please indeed review this downwards. And they refuse. I understand almost about 3-4 weeks ago, rather than even reducing, they went ahead and increased it from 1,500 to 4,500, 300%. I opposed it.
On other issues, the Governor, Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, said the IMF and World Bank were impressed with Nigeria's monetary policies, but emphasized the need for a preemptive attempt and support for economic activities by monetary and fiscal authorities to quench the impact of the projected economic slowdown for 2020. He further pointed out that vulnerabilities as a result of rising degrees of debt levels and increased reliance on external borrowings from low-income countries should be discouraged.
The meeting also cautioned that the projected growth pickup in the emerging market areas and the Eurozone areas indeed could be elusive and further compound the growth problem even in 2020.
Godwin Emefiele further noted that the border closure will help grow local industries and ensure mutual respect among neighboring countries in the region and further engender job creation along value chains in Nigeria, and therefore advocated the need for stringent measures to be put in place to ensure total compliance by importers to regulations. In Washington, D.C., I'm Walter Nigeria.
We shall be discussing in a moment with a public affairs analyst on the alleged USSD charges by mobile operators. That's after the break. To stay with us.
The struggle for independence had been a long and tough one. Our founding fathers and compatriots sacrificed their comfort and even shed their blood. We cannot at this point in history afford to spirit away their sacrifices for immediate but temporary gains of today. Let us emphasize what unites and not what divides us. Working for the unity of purpose with a stronger vision for a better tomorrow. NTA, growing with the nation.
Together, no matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. Let's not fight in each other. Let us one. It doesn't matter where you come from, your tribe or religion, man, woman or child. It doesn't matter who you are. Put Nigeria first. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. How can we develop? We're always in crisis. Families have become refugees in their country. No matter our differences, show some understanding. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
Nigeria, the only country we can train with remarkable potentials to excel. Let us believe in ourselves and change our attitude for the sake of our country and generations unborn. Let us revive our cultural values with our essence as a nation. Let us renew the spirit of patriotism and hope in our dear country. Do not take or give bribe. Be punctual always. No more African time. We can't expect to be global citizens and operate on African time. Join the queue. Insist that people are attended to on a first-come basis, no matter who they are or where they come from.
Nigeria, the people, great nation.
Many thanks for staying with us. With me live in the studio is Omali Ben Amedu, a public affairs analyst, and he's here to discuss with me on the alleged USSD service charge by MTN Nigeria. Many thanks for joining us in the studio, sir.
Good afternoon.
All right, so let's begin. This new charges MTN has decided to start today. How does it affect you as a consumer?
Well, I will give it a tag as a total pilferage on Nigerians, because for everybody that does any electronic transfer or whatever transaction that is done, charges are deducted, and such charges can only be imagined, because you can never imagine. You cannot estimate whatever will be the outcome.
So let's give a scenario now. Assuming you're about to do a transfer on your phone to maybe a friend or to your siblings or whoever, how many minutes do you think it will take you to do that transfer successfully?
It will take an average. It depends on how fast you are with your transaction, how you are at the phone. It will take an average of 5 minutes, and those 5 minutes at 4 naira means it's
for 20 seconds. Now they're saying they will charge you 4 naira for each 20 seconds. So
yeah, for 20 seconds is 4 naira.
Yeah.
So it means in every 20 seconds, for you who does it at an average of about 5 minutes, it's already amounting to so much money. And you can imagine only the number of Nigerians who are involved in a financial transaction with the bank, with the banks using their phones in a minute. It's outrageous. It means even within a minute or 5 minutes a day, they could generate over 1 billion naira. It's outrageous.
Wow. Already, we know that the banks are charging us for such transfers.
Yes.
Now, if the banks are charging, say, between 50 to 70 naira, now the mobile network operators intend to start charging us. So how much do you think consumers like us would be spending to do this transfer, which they say it's very important? Because I know that the Central Bank of Nigeria is insisting that we do transfers online and all that in transfers instead of going to the bank because they're charging us if we go to the bank. Now, look at these extra charges. How much do you think it would cost the consumers now?
The minimum charge you can consider now is about 100 naira. And for 1 million Nigerians, it's 100 million naira. And by estimate, we understand that in Nigeria now there are about 100 million Nigerians who are on network. And because banking has been brought to the very core level that everybody is involved, that's an average of 1 billion naira already, like I said. It's outrageous, and I call it, I think it's a corporate impunity that they are practicing in Nigeria.
Corporate impunity.
Yes.
Now, what do you think should be done? Because I know that some Nigerians are saying that the relevant financial and communication authorities should send a strong warning, to these network service provider, concerning this. In your own words, what do you think should be done?
Like I said, this corporate impunity, it means they are already underrating Nigerian government. No matter what the government tries to put on ground, by doing this, it is total disregard of Nigerian laws and whatever is supposed to be put in practice for the economy to grow well. And that means beyond the level of warning at this time, there should be outright punishment to them, because in law, what you regard as a lack of knowledge is what Nigerians call ignorance. Ignorance means it's from the word ignore. It means deliberately refuse to obey the laws. That's what the communication outfits are doing. It's outright disregard of Nigerian policies.
All right. So, outright disregard of Nigerian policies. What do you think the government should do?
The government should. It's gone beyond warning, like I said. It's outright stoppage of whichever operator that is on, because it's an abuse of the government procedure of how to put the economy in order. Pilferage, drainage in the pockets of every Nigerian who uses the phone and uses the bank. It means only God knows how much they are calculating and they are making from Nigerians arbitrarily, and it is a total fraud. It should be taken with seriousness and not be taken for granted.
For granted, exactly. Yes. All right, thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Omali Ben Amedu, a public affairs analyst. But just before you go, let me quickly ask you, yes, if your network provider sends you that message, would you continue to, do transfers with your phone, or you rather go to the bank?
Eventually, it will mean people should return to the banks.
And the banks will charge you too at the end of the day.
The banks will charge you, and the unfortunate thing about it is that it means they are now going to discourage Nigerians from patronizing the banks, because many people like to store their money where they can use it fiscally, and it will also give room for criminality, because when they discover people are withdrawing from the bank, the criminals will now know that people are hiding money in their pockets and in their banks and in their boxes and in their houses and vehicles. That's why the result of it is like a boomerang. It's overspreading. Like it's disaster.
All right, a disaster. We hope it doesn't happen. Thank you so much for joining us once again.
Thank you. I'm grateful.
All right, it's a panorama. Away from that now, 28 years old after the creation of Yobe State, Damaturu, the state capital, is said to have an ultra-modern market, as Mai Malabuni laid the foundation stone for the construction of the infrastructure at a cost of more than 2.8 billion naira. Yunusa Suleiman reports that this is part of government's resolve to provide a standard economic environment for the growth and development of the state.
As Governor Mai Malabuni laid the foundation stone for the construction of an ultra-modern market in Damaturu, the state capital, residents trooped out to witness the epoch-making event, as this is happening 28 years after the creation of Yobe State and 43 years of Damaturu as a local government headquarters. The governor noted that the market to be constructed at the cost of more than 2.8 billion naira has 12-month completion period and will accommodate 600 open and locked shops, administrative building, police outpost, road and drainages, among other facilities.
With the dilapidated and inadequate structures in the market and the urgent need to boost economic growth, we thought it is necessary for us to intervene at the state level. And this is exactly what we are doing right now.
Apart from the one in Damaturu, Governor Buni said it is the result of his administration to construct modern markets in 6 major towns across the state to provide appropriate economic environment for buyers and sellers in Damaturu. Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
The National Human Rights Commission has expressed serious concern over the proliferation of illegal detention centers across the country, saying that such centers must be closed to save their victims from further torture, inhuman and degrading treatments. A statement sent by the Director of Corporate Affairs Commission and External Linkages, Lambert Opara, says the Executive Secretary of the Commission, Tony Ojukwu, stated this in Abuja while reacting to the discovery of some illegal detention centers in some parts of the country. He further said the act of torture and all forms of inhuman and degrading treatment, and that whatever guise are clearly illegal, constitute human rights violations under the 1999 Constitution of the FRN as amended, as well as Convention Against Torture and other international treaties to which Nigeria is a signatory. Meanwhile, the Executive Secretary has directed the Commission's state coordinators in the Northwest to carry out in-depth investigations into the alleged illegal detention centers, including the case of the abducted children in Kano, in line with the Commission's mandate. The Executive Secretary also called on the Nigerian Police, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, as well as other relevant law enforcement agencies operating at the federal and state government levels, to be more vigilant and fish out the perpetrators of these heinous crimes and ensure that they are diligently prosecuted in accordance with the law. The federal government has pledged its full support for the successful hosting of the 2019 All Africa Music Awards Africa as the country prepares to host the glamorous event in Lagos come November with the theme Feel Africa. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, made the pledge in a statement signed by his Special Assistant Segun Adeyemi in Lagos. The minister said AFRIMA is one of the biggest awards for the music industry in Africa, and what the government has done in the past is to provide the enabling environment for the awards to take place by providing support services and backing it on record that the AFRIMA edition that have been hosted by Nigeria are among the most successful. Therefore, this year again, the federal government is ready to partner with AFRIMA professionally, give them the maximum support such as effective media coverage, and all help them in reaching out to other critical stakeholders. The minister added that stressing that part of the reasons is part of the reasons why Nigeria has successfully hosted the music awards is because the country has relaxed its visa regime with the visa on arrival policy. It has made it easier for people to come into the country. AFRIMA, which was first held in 2014, was established in collaboration with the African Union, AU, to reward and celebrate musical talents and creativity in Africa, as well as to promote African cultural heritage. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, says it will continue to deliver across the value chain of the oil and gas sector for the benefit of Nigerians. A release by the acting Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division of the NNPC, Samson Makoji, says the NNPC leads in the delivery of corporate social responsibility initiatives, particularly to host communities. The NNPC GMD, Mele Kiari, was at the 29th NNPC Downstream Golf Tournament in Kaduna and described the event as beneficial to the health of more than 2,000 employees of the NNPC and other residents of Kaduna State.
Well, NNPC is an enabler organization. Our activities touch the lives of Nigerians in very many ways, very many positive ways. One of them is support for the community and also support for our staff.
Kaduna Refinery is one of the flagship facilities of the NNPC. And now time to talk sports. All qualifiers for next year's Championship of African Nations have emerged, as Amanzi Marcus reports on Sports Update.
All the 16 countries for the championship